Are you ready? What's my name? What's my name? Say Kareem Ali. Say Kareem Ali. You're listening to
Are you serious?
the Hip Hop Debate Show.
Okay, so hear me out.
The official podcast of Kareem Ali. In about 2 seconds, Kareem Ali will begin to speak.
I consent to your recording. All right.
No. Keep talking.
I consent.
That was a great first line for the recording right there. Great. This feels pretty official now that there's 3 squares.
It does.
I mean, when it was 2 squares, it was kind of like a rectangle. And shit.
So in this Me Too culture, do you guys consent to the recording of the Kareem Ali podcast?
Yes, because you just overly was like,
I'm not engaging with that joke, sir. I'm not engaging with that joke.
Keep talking. Make it look natural.
I'm light-skinned and I work for a social justice poetry organization. I can't engage with that joke.
Well, you shouldn't have laughed there. You've incriminated yourself.
You remember when
the chuckle.
You remember when
I was laughing at something else.
Okay, plausible deniability.
I feel like, that's why I got to look like this. I got to look at the end of the phone. Because I was looking at the wrong end of the phone, and it was looking like okay.
You was looking at the ass of the phone.
Yeah, and I was looking like why am I looking away?
There's this thing called wide view. You can flip your phone to so that you don't have those 2 bars, and it's not evident that you're on your phone.
I'm trying to
get the technical term.
I'm messing it up, and I keep looking like I'm looking. Okay,
landscape.
So you
might want to skip to landscape. Put it on landscape view.
But yeah, back to what Kareem was asking. The young mayor looked pretty cool. He looked like he was a native. I think that's what they need. I think that's what Baltimore needs. Someone that's like doesn't have anything to lose type thing. Like you can't really bribe me. I really need to fix the city type stuff. So,
all right. So look,
I'm happy for him.
Okay. All right. So Kareem Ali TV. Listen, man, we're on the Are You Serious podcast, and I got the usual suspect, my man Slangston Hughes, one of the most enigmatic, greatest poets, MCs we've ever heard in this region, activist. And we also have on the show. He knows it. And also we have a equally great, one of the best writers I've ever heard with the intricacies of his bars in terms of poetry and hip hop as an MC, my man Sonny Ray Walker. Welcome to the show, brother.
Am I supposed to
do what you gotta do, brother? You got. I really shouldn't.
He's like the middle-aged dirty bastard.
You know, I'm regretting, but I like it. I'm regretting putting you 2 guys together because it's like if you were ever in a class,
the middle-aged dirty bastard.
We have to separate you 2. Do I have to separate you 2? Are we going to focus? Do I have to separate you 2 and put one in the back of the class?
We just started, though. We're warming up.
You're already starting with your bullshit.
He threw a paper ball at me. You didn't see that.
He called me the middle-aged dirty bastard, not old dirty bastard.
The middle-aged dirty bastard.
Midlife dirty bastard.
You couldn't even be the old one, the young one, the middle-aged dirty bastard.
Nah, I gotta be middle-aged dirty bastard. And I got the
MDB.
I got the mixed white and black child trust fund baby Lenny Kravitz hairdo right here.
It looks good on you, brother. I mean, it's better than what I got going on here. We do a lot.
You got. Hey, listen. The hair on the top of your the head on the top of your head matches your cheek, matches your fist. So it's all the same.
It definitely does.
I'm Ali Boomaye.
Hey, the bulletproof black man, baby. I'm out here looking like a Luke Cage with a beard. Don't shoot me. I'm not bullet.
I want to find
Luke
another
Mage.
word for cage. Luke Fence.
Luke Beige.
Luke Fence. You guys are assholes. You will not roast me on my own show.
Luke
swinging saloon door. Lukewarm.
Can't y'all. So listen, today the question we have in this particular debate, it's to understand who would win in a Cypher, guys. And we have 4 contestants, and sometimes these are things that people send me in my inbox of things that they want to hear on the show of matchups that they have. And so who would win in a Cypher between Jada Kiss, Pharoahe Monch, Jay-Z, or Black Thought? in terms
You
of
mean who would have the best verse?
who would have the best verse of the cipher. And it could be multiple verses. It could be like, a straight up cipher where you just going on and on. Who's
gonna
the guy that's gonna walk? If you
the
lock
most
them in a room,
impressive throughout the duration?
if you're gonna
of
lock them in a room and you say to get out of this room, you gotta rhyme your way out or you die. Who's coming out?
Well, they'll all get out,
like
but
that
I mean,
scenario.
Okay, Ray, let's go with you first.
But who's gonna come out of that room with the most impressive standing during the duration of said cipher?
Ray, let's go with you first, brother. What do you think?
that very well said, Slangston. I think I'm gonna rank it. I'm gonna start at 4.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna work my way up.
I like that.
Jada Kiss would be number 4. Although a lot of people revere him as to be an amazing lyricist, and he is.
He's a great punchline MC for sure. One-liners. That does
I
well in Cypher.
I am not the biggest fan of Jada Kiss as a rapper. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna die on that particular hill. People say that he doesn't have one bad verse, and that's dope. But his verses all sound the same to me. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's like there's no change in the style. Now, mind you, as far as real shit and real nigga talk and all of that shit, that nigga's incredible. I'm not taking anything away from him. He does say some slick shit, but I think that it's formulaic to me personally. Then you got Pharoahe, Monch, Black Thought, and Jay-Z. So I would go with Black Thought as number 3. Ooh. Oh, I know the hip hop heads are wilding out. Black Thought I think Black Thought starts to get Black Thought, the quality about Black Thought that stands out is his he's like a marathon rapper. Like he starts out and goes all the way through at the same level. So like think of it like a marathon where someone is literally starting off with the new energy and they run that same pace throughout the whole marathon and don't really get tired. That's how I see Black Thought's that's why I see like his highlight, that's his superpower. Like him going on Funk Flex for 10 minutes and spitting like on that high level throughout the
Are you serious?
The whole
Number 3
10 minutes.
Number 3?
Numero 3.
Yeah, Trace. God damn.
Number 2. Drum roll, please.
You better not do it. You better not do it. Don't show your bias. You better not do it. You better not.
What do you mean? Don't try to say that.
Speak your truth, sir. Speak your truth.
Number 2 is Jay-Z.
Okay.
With number 3. No. Stay where you are. Keep that same energy.
Okay. I thought you would
keep that same energy.
Okay.
Keep that same energy because you tried to peer pressure me into thinking that what I'm saying is what I'm saying. What? We're talking about a cipher. Okay. Jay-Z is much more magical than Jada Kiss and much more magical than Black Thought, in my opinion. I thought you were supposed to say, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" You see what I did there?
No, I don't see it.
Bang, bang, bang.
In a few minutes, Kareem Ali will begin to speak.
Yes. So Jay-Z is a lot more magical than those two because of what he says, the content of what he says. He says some of the slickest shit ever in hip hop to me. And his flows vary. If you listen to the first track of the Blueprint Volume 3, the one with the 3 red stripes, he was dancing on that first song in a way where other people cannot dance lyrically, to me. Most people can't dance. But then you got number 1 of the all-time. Dancing this motherfucker. When I say dance, I mean dancing on the cadences. Mm-hmm. The all-time motherfucking dancing this motherfucker. One of the people who have styles that cannot be duplicated is Pharoahe Monch. And when you're getting off in a cipher, I don't think anybody can out rap him in a cipher. Bam. Go ahead, prove me wrong.
Okay.
And if
Slikester,
let's fight.
Would you like
Let's
to
fight.
First of all, I want to say, are you serious? Ray, Sonny Ray, are you serious? But I can't say that because, quite seriously, I'm upset of how much I agree with most of what you just broke down. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in order of who I think would be the most impressive, least impressive to most impressive. They'd all be impressive. Let's be clear. It'd be incredible Cypher. Everyone and their mother would want to see that video. Could that happen? It'd be incredible if this could happen. But I'm going to go in order from 4 to 1. And ironically, this order is also how I would rank them overall as MCs, entire legacy, entire cumulative score, as they say in slam culture.
Oh, be careful.
I would rank them this way too.
Oh, my
slang terms, slam terms.
And because of the nature of this topic, people out there on the internet, you might notice that I changed my name. And this is now Lyrical Leviathan talking, because we are talking about some lyrical shit right now. So number 4, and this is how I would also rank them as MCs overall all time as well in the order of these 4. Number 4, Jada Kiss. And for a lot of the same reasons that Ray pointed out. So Jada Kiss came out in a time in the 90s where in the mainstream, the level of lyrical dopeness was much more prevalent. And so for hip hop heads who was really up on dope motherfucking next level MCs at the time, we all appreciated Jada Kiss for bringing really dope, witty punchlines to more mainstream-esque records, even though the Locks was very much street, and then they were shiny suit, and then, you know, by the time Jada Kiss came out solo, he was looked at as being like the street rapper champion and shit. You know, he had, even on his lead single, he had like really clever lyrical lines. But if you were somebody who was at the time, you were like, okay, Jada Kiss is cool, but him claiming to be top 5 dead or alive, let's pump the brakes. You know what I mean? So, but now when you hear Jada Kiss versus now, you know, in the midst of a much more dumbed down mainstream, the average person would be like, wow, this is mind boggling. It's like, even at the time, even then, and, you know, in his so-called heyday, we were like, okay, he's good, but like, he's not elite level if you are listening consistently to elite level. So he'd be 4, and he hold his own. He'd be, it's really a tight call for me between my 3rd and my 2nd. 3 is Black Thought. When it comes to cipher settings, freestyles, Black Thought is always, especially in the lieu of the more recent, you know, Black Thought freestyles that have accosted YouTube, if you will, and been very, very impressive.
Big words.
Especially impressive for now, in this time being, you know, people are like, this is the greatest, this new Rakim levelness. And it's like, this is what Black Thought has always been. You're just paying attention all of a sudden. But at the time when Black Thought was first coming to prominence, you know, this was regular high level dopeness. But in a cipher setting, Black Thought is impressive whenever he's doing a freestyle, but in a cipher, he's super impressive. In a cipher setting with other similarly leveled MCs, he's going to be impressive, but not like super impressive as if you're watching him spit alone. And with this lineup, you know, I'd say he'd be thirdly impressive, close to secondly, because this really is his wheelhouse. This is his backyard, just cipher style, just going off bars for bars. If everyone had to freestyle off the top in this cipher, Black Thought might come out first. But if it being a cipher where you can bring whatever your best crafted shit is, I'd say he'd fall about 3rd, but he's gonna be goddamn impressive because this is what he does. 2nd, this is where me and Ray differ, and this is where shit's gonna get interesting. And I'm surprised that he didn't come to the same conclusion as me for all the reasons I'm about to tell you. Listen, 2nd is the god Pharoahe Monch. Pharoahe Monch is one of the greatest MCs, you know what I mean, in the history of the earth. And we talked about it a little bit behind the scenes, and we're gonna have an episode coming up about it. But I have curated.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I've curated.
Wait a minute. You see that? You hear that, Vic? You hear it? That is somebody not keeping the same energy. Go ahead, continue. Thank you.
I'm in shock.
I just need that. I just need that.
Hear me out. No. Hear me out. Just hear me out. Pharoahe Monch a second.
You can't trust the Leviathan.
Now, so. I've curated my list of 13 microphone gods who are in the upper realm of historicalness. And one of the ones that Kareem found surprising, just a quick insight into the future spoiler here, is I had Pharoahe Monch in my top all time. And because Pharoahe Monch, quite honestly, especially with that new shit that dropped, Pharoahe Monch, quite honestly, is pound for pound, like in his, like Roy Jones in his prime.
One second, I'll say this. I wasn't surprised that Pharoahe Monch could have the ability to be in there. It was more so the people that you left out.
Right,
over
exactly.
Pharoahe Monch.
And I
thought had greater careers.
You see that?
Think combination of
guys,
skills.
Hey guys, YouTube, you see that?
Albums, Pharoahe Monch deserves a spot. And I actually kept him in lieu of one of Ray's all-time favorite MCs. And I'm not gonna say who, but I actually kept Pharoahe Monch in and kept this one out. And replaced someone else. And put someone else
there were a couple of guys that belonged in that list. That
one of them are in now. And it's somebody else.
No, don't put them in now because I would. You're taking the chance away from me to argue with you about it.
You convinced me thoroughly behind the scenes that I had one that should be.
I'm gonna bring it up that you didn't have. I gotta expose you that you didn't have them in there.
You may do that, and I also reserve the right to edit where necessary based off of my evolving thoughts.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Pharoahe Monch second because Pharoahe Monch. You put Pharoahe Monch in a Cypher setting. I've heard him in many Cypher settings, including in the De La Soul album. In the De La Soul album, Ghost Read interludes, where he just goes off like, play pool, extinguish the sun with my drool, play pool with the planets, like that kind of shit in a Cypher setting is going to. It's like adding Black Thought's rapid delivery with Jay-Z level punchlines that are also bolstered by multisyllabic flow and vocabulary that you need several sources for. And so in a Cypher setting, that's going to kill. Now, here's why number one for me, most impressive in that room, in that Cypher setting, would be Jay-Z, aka Hova. Because this is what people may or may not know about Jay-Z is that when his albums were coming out, he routinely, when he would hit singles and all that, he routinely, to prove himself lyrically, would seek out who people were saying was the dopest skill-wise at the time. He would seek them out one-on-one, parties, album releases, at the club, randomly. He would seek them out one-on-one in person. Who does this now in person and be like, yo, let's go at it? And I'm talking Jizza, Busta Rhymes, DMX.
Everybody.
Like whoever.
Did he seek out
like,
cannabis too?
The best right now.
Did he seek out cannabis?
I'm not sure. And this
if
may
it was
not have
during
been
that time. It was
it was around that time, but I don't know if it was at that time exactly. But he would seek them out and be like, "Yo, let's." If
you're telling me he seeked out cannabis in '98, then I'd be impressed.
And word, but I think this was more 96, 97. Okay. And word, by 98, he might have been a little bit too much of a big name. Niggas might try to fight him just to get their rep up. But and word is that on a regular, he handled these motherfuckers, Busta Rhymes included. Word is that he got the better time and time again. And because of that mentality, and because of the competitive repartee of a Jay-Z to this very day, even the way he approaches how he drops albums, when he drops albums, how he does it, is all very competitive. It's all in the spirit of the MCmanship of trying to one up a competing MC. Ooh. So everyone else, like Jada Kiss, he'd be falling on his punchline laurels. Black Thought and Pharoahe Monch would be doing what they do best, being Cypher MCs, spitting impressive verses with all kinds of complexities and all kinds of, gymnastics with their words. They would approach it like a cypher. Jay-Z would not. He would approach it like he was battling every one of them. He'd be well prepared. That's the kind of verses he would bring, and his ability to do entendres, wordplay, and punchlines in tandem in a manner of 4 to 6 bars would make him stand out the most to people bearing witness. They would be like, oh shit. Plus, because he's Jay-Z, one of his dope lines are going to fall like 4 would for the rest of them. So he's going to have the amplifying effect of his name attached to it. And so because of those reasons, he'd approach it like a battle, and he'd come out most impressively, even if not to the other MCs, even if not to us aficionado types watching, but to the average person looking on, he's going to come off the most impressive.
Okay, wait, let me stop you. I think you're ranking Jay-Z way too high in a cypher setting. I remember when he ciphered with Big L on the radio.
That was a long
and I don't believe that. I believe that. I think the world believes that Big L came out. It's almost commonplace in hip hop lore that Big L outrhymed Jay-Z in this situation. Most people
that was Jay-Z just coming out of the Fuchsnickens phase.
Oh my God.
That was Jay-Z fresh out of the Fuchsnickens.
Okay, so let me give mine. You guys can't be serious.
Give me your order.
Wait a minute. My order, and I'm not going to go too detailed into it because we're pressed for time. Boy. But Jadakiss would be number 4. I think Jadakiss does very well in the cipher, but I think Jadakiss is a little one-dimensional in terms of his punchlines. That's all he has. Number 3. I would have Jay-Z at number 3. I think Jay-Z as a hip hop artist.
Serious?
I'm definitely serious. As a hip hop,
yeah.
Listen, can I talk? God damn.
Only if you're serious.
I'm very serious. Always serious. Look, serious as a heart attack. Serious as I throw hands. Listen, Jay-Z is one of the greatest hip hop artists of all time. He's one of the greatest songwriters of all time, probably superior to everybody on this list. But in a cipher setting, I just don't think even those double or triple entendres are going to come off on time in real time the way that some of the other guys do. I think Black Thought will be number 2 with his ability, but some of the things that Ray said about Black Thought, I agree with in terms of him having one speed and going the same way all the time. But I think Pharoahe Monch in the cipher is probably the best choice. The way he dances.
Okay.
Kareem Ali, I have a question. Serious as cancer. Who can keep the average dancer?
Hyper has a heart attack.
Nobody's smiling.
I'm smiling right now though, because I'm definitely serious. Pharoahe Monch has got to be the number 1. As a hip hop artist, I would say Jay-Z.
I can understand that.
But
I can understand that. And if we were talking about who's gonna have the best verses from a technical standpoint, from a lyrically skilled standpoint, from a standpoint that'll be digested and understood by the most nerdiest of hip hop aficionados, yes, I agree. But if we're talking about who's going to be the most impressive in a cipher setting to the onlooking audience, it's going to be Jay-Z because he's going to use all the tools. He's going to cheat.
I thought the argument was the fact. Go ahead.
To play off of their names.
Leviathan, I'm not going to yell over you in a Zoom meeting.
Okay, period. I wasn't done with my statement.
So relax.
I didn't get to my serious question just yet.
Relax, and let me say. I think the controversial or the argumentative aspect of Kareem's list is you seriously think that Black Thought is going to out-rap Jay-Z in a cipher. That is, I think, personally. I think that we also forgot that Pharoahe Monch did out-rap Black Thought in a cipher on Lyricist Lounge on the Stretch and Bobbito show. If we're talking about hip hop nerd shit,
can we talk about what he did the most stuff for that feature?
No. I'm talking about
everyone knows about that. That Bobbito's a nice deep cut.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about on Lyricist Lounge. There's 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. I forget which one it was on. It ended with a Stretch and Bobbito freestyle cipher with Pharoahe Monch, Common, Black Thought, some dude from.
I used to listen to this shit all the time,
and Pharoahe Monch and Black Thought accidentally got into a cipher, almost like a indirect battle on the radio, and Pharoahe Monch shitted on everybody in the room. Period.
That's why he's
Cypher setting this Pharoahe Monch not do that. Like, yeah, that's just part of the course of doing a Cypher.
That's a Cypher.
Monch, so.
That was a Cypher, and Pharoahe Monch shitted on everybody, including Black Thought.
Maybe Black Thought 2 T's. Shit.
Clay Davis.
Clay Davis gave it to him.
Now, here's my question though, Kareem Ali. Have you not heard Shiny Shoot Theory?
I've heard
the Jay-Z and Jay Electronica song. Have you not heard the We Made It remix?
I heard it.
Have you not heard Jay Electronica's whole album?
I've heard
you're disrespecting
the Jay-Z.
I've heard
it.
I gave Jay-Z his credit.
He's one of the greatest hip-hop artists
of all time. He's one of the greatest songwriters of all time. That's why I'm ranking it. It's a different sport. It's a different sport
in that Cypher. And I defy what mother effer in that Cypher is going to be able to take that approach with him and win.
You're disrespecting.
You're gonna need to find someone named William Griffin or
Jay Hova. There's no J in the Hebrew or the Latin.
You might have to resurrect Christopher Wallace. No, I understand the logic behind your ranking for sure, but I'm just trying to help you understand.
It's a different sport. It's like taking Floyd
Mayweather. Normal Jay-Z.
Listen. I got one headphone, guys.
Okay,
I got one headphone, so I can't out, brother. So y'all could go and complete your whole thought
about 3 minutes.
with both headphones. Basically, and I'm just, this will be the last thing I say about it. Like, if we're talking about impressive rhyming and acrobats, that's why I have Pharoahe Monch. I can't really say that Jay-Z is going to outdance Pharoahe Monch. He's going to be equally as impressive as far as what he says. But I can't bet against Pharoahe Monch, being that I've seen it. When it comes to Jay-Z, I feel like you're being biased on Jay-Z's success and using that as a way to lower him in the ranking. As
Jay-Z is one of the greatest lyricists of all time.
Let me finish. Him being 3 amongst those 4 is disrespectful.
No,
you can say no, that's what I'm trying. The fact that you're using a Cypher setting means that the fact that you're using the Cypher setting is further telling me that you're being biased against Jay-Z, because Jay-Z made his name off of killing people in ciphers and freestyles.
He didn't kill Big L. Hey, Vic, did Jay-Z seek out Big Pun? In that time period, you say he sought out all the best. Did he seek out Big Pun?
I wouldn't know how. I wouldn't be able to confirm or deny that. Right, so what you're assuming, though, in my opinion, what you're assuming, Kareem Ali, is that Jay-Z would be outside of his element. And what I'm telling you is that he'd be back in his original element. And he'd be excited, and he'd be most prepared because of his excitement. This is their element all the time. Somebody who always shoots 3-pointers doesn't have anything to prove about shooting 3-pointers. But if someone from the coast knows they can shoot 3-pointers, and everybody thinks they can, they're going to be ready to jack them up.
I feel like he would be competing in a slightly different sport. I think he's like Floyd Mayweather. He may be the most scientifically advanced. Like Floyd Mayweather is the most scientifically advanced boxer of all time. But if you put him in a mixed martial arts situation with Conor McGregor, he loses easily. Now, I'm not saying Jay-Z would lose easily. I just don't think he would be the most impressive. I think it would definitely be.
The difference is he has knockout power. He has knockout power. That's the difference.
But here's the difference. Wait a minute. Here's the difference. You are holding Jay-Z, just like using this Floyd Mayweather, you're using his success against him. The fact that Floyd Mayweather is successful is why you're saying he can't handle himself. Jay-Z is a MMA fighter.
I'm not saying that because Floyd Mayweather is successful. I'm saying that he doesn't have the same skill set. How am I being biased?
Because the only
I'm a
thing
Jay-Z fan. The only thing that's just because I don't think he could out rap Pharoahe Monch in a Cypher setting.
But you cannot
bias. How's that possible?
No, you put him at 3. You put him at 3.
Because
you didn't put him at 2.
Because I really
not to mention
Black Thought
you didn't keep that same energy. And then you didn't keep that same energy. When I said Jay-Z was before I announced number 2, you was like, oh my goodness gracious, oh my goodness gracious, here we go. I'm gonna let you know now. I'm gonna let you know. Then when Slankston said Pharoahe Monch was number 2, you was quiet as a church mouse.
Because Slankston is the super hip hop backpacker guy, and I was in shock. I need them to shoot me with 3 cc's of adrenaline.
Wait a minute.
I'm excited to see your reaction.
Slankston said that.
He did it just to spite me.
He's a hit. No, he said that because he's a hip hop.
He did it to get under my skin.
He said that, but the only reason why he's getting under your skin is because Jay-Z is successful. That clinches it right there because he is a hip hop head.
Oh, God.
It's because he's a hip hop head that he said Jay-Z. Right. And I was thinking about Jay-Z, but I'm just.
This would be my definitive statement on it. Bow staff versus nunchucks. A master with the nunchucks is going to be really impressive. He's going to dance around. He's going to twirl. But if he goes against a master with the bow staff, that master with the bow staff knows how to hit all your pressure points from a distance with the length of the bow staff before you even realize it. And that is what Jay-Z would do in that cycle.
I could see your angle on that. Like I can respect that. But you putting Jay-Z at 3 is just nasty.
All right, guys, look.
It's nasty.
The Are You Serious podcast, Kareem Ali TV, Sonny Ray, Slankston Hughes. Great talk. I disagree with you guys, but whatever.
Disgusting.
We'll be back another time. Vic, you want to take us out?
Oh, he's
paused. He's paused. Well, he always says a little thing at the end, serious? But I'm very serious. Very serious.
I guess not.
So I have to stand here today as what I was when I was born, a black man.
Your racism bounces off me, I'm bulletproof. Your prejudice gets deflected, I'm bulletproof. Your hatred can't penetrate me, I'm bulletproof. Our minds can't be shackled no more, nah, we know the truth. Yeah, from the spot that Malcolm stood.